Units 1.6 lesson notes. Unit 1.6 is all about angle relationships. Unit 1.6 is all about angle relationships. In the same way that people have relationships with other people, and you can have different types of relationships with different people, right? Angles can have different types of relationships with other angles, right? Sometimes an angle only has one relationship with another angle. Sometimes it has 3 or 4 types of relationships with another angle, right? So Unit 1.6 is all about figuring out the relationships between 2 angles. All right, we're going to start with vertical angles. Vertical angles are 2 angles across from each other on intersecting lines. They're across from each other. They're always congruent, meaning equal. Right? So if you have 2 intersecting lines, and this is angle 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you have 2 intersecting lines, the angles that are across from each other are your vertical angles. So 1 and 3, angle 1 is congruent to angle 3, meaning if angle 1 is 120 degrees, then angle 3 has to be 120 degrees. They're equal, congruent, they're across from each other, they're vertical. Right? Angle 2 is across from angle 4. So it is congruent to angle 4. Meaning if angle 2 is 60 degrees, angle 4 also has to be 60 degrees. They are vertically across from each other. Rewind and watch it again if you need to, okay? The next is adjacent angles. Adjacent angles are 2 angles that are next to each other and share a common side. Think about standing next to somebody. You're adjacent. Think about classrooms that are right next door to each other. I'm adjacent on this side with Miss Powell. We share a wall. And I'm adjacent on the other side with Miss Fantroy because we share a wall. Right? So they're side by side. That's adjacent. Right? So for example, if you have an angle, now you have 2 angles, right? And angle 1 and angle 2 are adjacent. They are side by side. They share this wall. They share a common wall, a common side, a common ray, however you want to call it, right? They are adjacent, side by side. Then we have complementary angles. Any 2 angles whose sum is 90 degrees, meaning any 2 angles that when combined create a right angle, right? So suppose you have a right angle. This is how you know it's right angle. It has a little square. If it tells you it's a right angle, then put the little square. It tells your brain it's a right angle. A right angle has to be 90 degrees. Right? So if you have something inside, now you have angle 1 and angle 2. They're complementary angles. They complement each other. They go together to equal 90 degrees. Right? So if angle 2 is 65 degrees, then angle 1 has to be 25 degrees, because 60 plus 25, that's not right, no, 65 plus 25 is 90, right? So if they add together to give you a right angle, then they're complementary angles. Next up is supplementary angles. Right? So think about complementary as the first step. 2 angles together to give you 90 degrees. supplementary is the next step. Two angles together to give you 180 degrees, right? So any two angles you sum is 180 degrees. So suppose you have angle 1, angle 2. Two angles, which are also adjacent, because they're side by side and they share a common wall, right? Angles can be more than one type of relationship, right? And if this is 120 degrees, and it tells me that it's supplementary, or if you know that it's a straight line, then it has to equal 180 degrees. So if this is 120, this has to be 60, because 120 plus 60 is 180. So these are adjacent angles. They're also supplemental angles, because if you put them together, if you combine them, if you add them up, you get the 180 degrees. All right, and then lastly, we have a linear pair. A linear pair is two angles that are adjacent, side by side, share a common wall, and supplementary, add up to equal 180 degrees to form a straight line. It's also called a linear pair. So it's the same as the last one, right? Two angles. Let's say this one's 90, which means this one's 90. Right? So if this is 90 degrees and this is 90 degrees, then the total is 180 degrees. So they're adjacent because they're side by side and they share a common wall, a common side. And supplementary because when you add them together, you get 180, a straight line, right? They are two angles, that's pair, two, that create a straight line. Two angles that create a straight line, also known as a linear pair. Right? Now, you must remember to look carefully at your angles, whichever angle it asks you to look at, right? And you must remember that some angles have multiple relationships. All right? So, for example, there's a lot of angles here. It only wants you to focus on the relationship between angle 1 and angle 2. Right? Let's focus on angle 1 and angle 2 for now. Right? So, angle 1 and 2, are they adjacent? Are they side by side? Do they share a common wall? Yes. Are they vertical? Are they across from each other? No. You can't be adjacent and vertical. You're either side by side or you're across from each other. You can't be both. Think about, you know tic-tac-toe, right? Adjacent, side by side. Vertical, across from each other. Get it? Alright? So it's not vertical. Complementary. Do the two angles add up to a 90-degree angle? No. Supplementary. Do the two angles add up to 180 degrees? Do they create a straight line? If you add this angle and this angle, do you get a straight line? Yes. If it's both adjacent and supplementary, then it's considered a linear pair. So look carefully when you do the practice sheet on the other ones. This is the only one that has 3. All the rest are 1 or 2, right? Look carefully at your relationships. Let me verify that. Let me look at the practice sheet. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, so correct. This is the only one that has 3 relationships. It's more complicated, right? All the other ones either have 1 relationship or 2 relationships. When you're done taking your notes, if you're still confused, watch an extra video. But if you're ready, come get the practice sheet. When you're done the practice sheet, I'll give you the mastery check. Deal? Deal.